Hi, this is Carol from the STS. This is the Adult Cardiac User Group call on January 22nd. This call is scheduled to run from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Central, and we're about to get started here. So I just wanted to thank everybody for joining and taking time out of your day to get an update on our transition from IQVIA to IQVIA. I apologize, and we want to hear your feedback. So I just to begin with, on the call today with me, I have Donna McDonald, who is the Director of the Quality Department here at the Society of Thoracic Surgeons, along with Jane Hanna, who is an Associate Director, and then Leanne Jones, who is the National Database Manager over General Thoracic and Congenital, and Dr. Dave Warmuth, who is also with us today. First, we're going to go over a quick call overview, our current status update, our support overview, just a quick recap of that, and then it'll be open for discussion so we can hear from you all. And I'm going to first just a quick, because we've never had these before for STS. This is the first user group call ever, and we just want to give a quick overview about what a user call is and what you all can expect on these calls, as we're going to have them weekly except for the first week of the month for January, the rest of January, February, and March, and then we'll revisit the frequency starting in April. We may go down to once a month in April or twice a month in April. So for this user group, what's kind of expected is where a user group is a group of users of a specific product, which is for you all the STS National Database. It's a platform for you to share your experiences and ideas to improve either the platform itself or help each other with best practices that you do at your site. It's allow you to network with fellow users, and then also to provide feedback to us that we can pass on to IQVIA for modification or enhancements on the platform itself, as well as the functions of the STS National Database, how you use them at your site. So we're here to listen, and this is really the purpose of what this user group is for. Next, I just want to give a quick update. The data specs for version 4.20 should be out to the vendors this week. I did post a data collection form online. It's a PDF form. The IQVIA is inputting the short names and sequence numbers into that form, and once I have that back from them, which again will be later this week, I will most likely get that posted sometime next week to the website, and I'll post that up in Word and in a PDF format. The surgeon worksheets will be coming probably closer to June or July, probably closer to June, along with the training manual at that same time. We will have a call on the 30th to go over version 4.20 in more detail, so that purpose of that call is specific for version 4.20. So I ask that you hold questions regarding that data spec upgrade until we get to that call, just so we can give enough time to other questions or comments regarding the STS National Database, Adult Cardiac Database currently. And then just a few updates on the STS website navigation. Again, be sure to check the database news. We have the webinar page. The IQVIA landing page will be coming soon. And then I wanted to address our patient education page, and we can talk more about that on other webinars outside of this one for right now. And now I'm going to hand it over to Donna McDonald to give our current status update with our transition to IQVIA. Donna?
Hello. Thank you all very much for joining. I know this is a turbulent time for you as it is for us, and we just wanted to keep you up to date on what's happening and why some of the things are happening. The very first thing I wanted to mention is that the platform's been undergoing testing, and we have some really dedicated beta testers, pilot testers, who've been working with the platform and helping us refine it so that it's in the best possible shape when we release it to all of you. And for that, I want to turn it over to Karen Hardy, who's been one of the most active beta testers, who can tell you a little bit about what's been happening and how she's interacting with the data platform.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thanks.
Hi. Yes, we've been very actively testing and uploading files since January 6th when the window opened for that. We've identified some issues, which were not unexpected when you have this big of a change. And so I just have to reassure everybody that it is moving along. They are fixing things that we are identifying. It's just probably taking a little more time than we all hoped. But we are trying to make the platform the best it can be so that when you all get a chance to submit your files, hopefully all these bugs will be worked out. We've also been working on the dashboard some and have been providing feedback on that. And I'm just really impressed with the IQVIA staff because they are listening to us and they're listening to us as data managers as to what our needs are.
Thanks,
I think that's
Karen.
all I have, Donna.
Do you have any comments or insight on the data quality report and the missing variable report and how it changes?
Right. Sure. I think one thing that you all, the biggest change you're going to see when you get acclimated to this is you're going to get immediate feedback on your data quality, on your missing variables. You won't have to wait for that 2 to 3 day turnaround that we always were accustomed to having in our former life with DCRI. So that is going to be a major improvement for all of us. I just would encourage you all between now and when we do get the platform out to everybody to use your third-party vendor software to clean up your data as accurately as you can in your own environments and fill in the missing variables, maybe start keeping spreadsheets of the variables that you know are blank so that since our timeline is diminishing, you can achieve that clean submission sooner.
Thanks, Karen. That's very helpful. So now, based on what we've heard from the beta testers and what we know is going on behind the scenes at IQVIA, I know that you're all very frustrated because we keep saying, you'll be getting this next week. Oh, wait a minute, you'll be getting it next week. But there is a definite go live date now for Wednesday, January 29th. You'll get usernames, passwords, a link to the portal, and all the emails and phone number for support. We obviously hoped, as you do, that this had happened sooner, but we really needed to make it right. We didn't want it to go live and add to your frustration with glitches or issues that would just make it more stressful to submit your data. So we were sort of on a minute-to-minute update with IQVIA, letting us know where they were, what progress had been made, and I apologize that we haven't been able to communicate with you every day, but we really have been working to get this right for you. We know it's not going to be perfect, but we will have a mechanism for you to give us your feedback, and setting up these calls will also help us understand how you're interacting with the platform and what works for you and what could be improved upon. So I think it's important to know Wednesday is go live. One thing to keep in mind is you'll get more warnings on your data feedback, your data quality report. So as Karen so importantly stated, clean up your data as much as possible before that portal opens. Start with a small batch so that you can get a sense of how to interact with the data quality report and look at the missing variable report. If you put in a year's worth of data in your first submission, it might be a little overwhelming. So my suggestion would be to start small. Now, of huge importance to all of you, and we know this, is the harvest close date is listed as February 14th. And that's a really narrow time frame for, even if your data are perfect, you're interacting with a new platform, using different forms and reports to correct your data, so we recognize that. This date was based originally on deadlines for CMS submission and building in time for data transmission, analytics, report population, and report posting. We have a call after this call to critically look at that timeline and see what we can do to make that better. I can't make any promises right now, but we are critically looking at it today, and we'll let you know as soon as possible. But I do encourage you, submit early. As soon as you get your credentials, please get into the system, submit some files, and make sure that you're comfortable using it. I know that when we had previously just had harvest windows. It was a 2-week episode, but that was with a system that you were used to. We'll try our best to make it give you more time than that, but really you need to get in there early and start working with it. We have support, which Carol will go over. And I know you're going to have a lot of questions, so I think it's important for me to stop talking and let Carol finish the update here, and then we'll get to your questions.
Great, thanks, Donna. So just a quick touch on the IQVIA support. This is the support plan. We've showed it in previous webinars. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this just so we can get to questions and hear what you all have to say. A quick overview of it is it's a tiered level support. Your first site that you'll reach is out to IQVIA. This will not go live until January 29th when the adult portal opens for your submission. So these numbers and this support plan will not go in place until January 29th. Prior to January 29th, if you need to reach out to somebody and you need help with something, please email stsdb@sts.org for your questions on the transition and anything else that we can help you with. Also, be sure to check the STS National Database webpage, which will provide you with near real-time updates as we're getting them from IQVIA and able to share them with you. We're updating the STS webpage, so please make sure you check that out as well. And then again, after go live, after January 29th, you'll have the STS tech support at IQVIA and you'll have phone support as well. There's an STS National Database feedback form that's available. This form is for you to submit your feedback, anything that you are liking or are not liking or you think could be improved. On the IQVIA platform, we would encourage you to use this feedback form and we can send it out to you. The current resources that we have available on the STS website, we have the contact information, the webinar information, an FAQ document, a go-live checklist, tiered level support document, and then coming soon are the training videos and the link to the IQVIA portal. We will not provide the link to the IQVIA portal until you get your logins and passwords, which will be on the day of go live, which is January 29th. Now we're going to move it to open discussion, and we have questions in the queue that we can go through, but really we wanted to give you a platform to also be able to talk and share your thoughts with us verbally. So there's a raised hand function on if you're able to, there's a raised hand function that you can use to raise your hand, and we'll unmute you and then give us your name and your site, and then let us hear what you have to say. If you have a question, feel free to ask it or state your comment, and we encourage your feedback and we want to hear from you. So as folks are going to get used to that, I know this is a little bit different than what we've done for the other webinars, but really this is your call. This is your opportunity to speak and let us hear you and share ideas. One thing I do want to ask is that if anybody has tips that they want to share with other sites on how they're preparing for go live, ways that you're using your vendor software to make sure your data is as clean as possible before submitting it to IQVIA, or any steps or processes that you're taking at your site to get ready, and you care to share that, please raise your hand and we'll unmute you and you can share that idea with everybody, and just to let us know. And this is a place to network with one another and help your fellow data managers out. So we really want to hear that as well. I do have one here. Rosemary's on the line, so I'm going to unmute Rosemary. And go ahead, Rosemary. Are you? Oh, you think you have to unmute yourself? Okay. Oh, Rosemary, are you there? Okay, that doesn't seem to.
How about if I do this is Donna, the questions in the Q&A until we get folks connected?
Yep, and Rosemary, just let us know when you're ready to talk. Do you want me to read the first one in the Q&A, Donna, and we can go and you can answer?
Oh, sure.
Okay. First question I have from Jennifer is, will Harvest 1 dates be pushed back to a later date? So Donna, you had answered that already, and we are critically having a critical discussion about that today, and we'll get information out as soon as we can. Next question, does the 129 go live include general thoracic as well? Donna, did you want to take that one?
Very good question. It does not. The go live is for adult cardiac only. We'll be beta testing the general thoracic database and don't have a go live date set. It will all depend on the testing, the beta testing for them.
Great, thank you. Next question, can we still submit through DCRI until go live?
No, the DCRI portal is closed. They're no longer the data warehouse, although they'll be doing analytics. IQVIA is the data warehouse and all data will be sent to them or will be uploaded to the IQVIA platform.
Great, thank you. Okay, next question. Good afternoon and thank you for the update. I know for a fact I have a lot of missing variables. Will this affect our submission or cause a critical error? What is the threshold for each data element?
Hi, this is a good question, and I think you need to approach this the way you always have with your data submissions. When you see your missing variable report, your data quality report, start with your critical errors. Obviously, some data elements are more crucial than others. The mortality dates, 30-day mortality, anything involved in the risk model, your NQF measure fields. So all of the things that you're used to focusing on, I would start with. Missing a right ventricular pressure is not something you're going to want to dig through charts and look for. You want to focus on the things that you know are important. The thresholds for mortality, starting with data from 2017, are 2%, so those haven't changed. Those won't be changing. Any inconsistencies or errors, such as the date of birth coming after the surgery date or things like that, you'll get warnings for, and you'll need to correct that so that your vent times and length of stay and all of those things are correct. So it's similar to what you've done, it's just a data quality report is going to look different.
Great, thank you. And then I have a live question here from Rhonda. And Rhonda, if you're able to hear us and unmute yourself, you can go ahead. We'll read this next question, and then you can go ahead with your comment. You just need to unmute yourself, and we're going to go to the next one, and then you're able to speak. So hold on one second. Next question. When we are ready to submit data, do we need to submit for the whole time period of 1/1/17 through 12/31/19? So I can take this one, Donna.
Thanks.
Yep, your data that was at DCRI for your last submission, which was through September 30th, all of that data has been sent over to IQVIA. So the only data that you have to submit is data that is not contained in that file set. So it would be October 1st through December 31st. If you made changes to any data prior to that in your vendor software, you will also need to submit that data as well. So minimal data will be October 1st through December 31st, and then any other data that you may have made changes to the record on, you'll need to also submit. Okay, Rhonda, are you there and able to hear us? I don't think that raised hand. Okay. Next question. What time is go live? Anxious data managers want to know.
Wow, and I totally understand your anxiety, and I don't have an answer for that, but we'll find out.
Yep, and we'll communicate that out as well in the emails that we send out. When IQVIA sends your login information, STS will be sending a supplement email to go with that to let you know IQVIA has sent that email, and I think then we'll probably be able to include that information at that time, hopefully. Is that right, Donna?
Correct.
Okay, great. Next question. If you truly cannot answer variables because there is not information in the medical record, there is no choice but to leave it missing. That's right. So that will show up on your missing variable report. What we're talking about here is there's an edit and checks document. So if you had, say you had a creatinine level that met the requirement where the patient would not be coded as post-op renal failure and you inadvertently coded that patient as post-op renal failure, those files are going to be flagged and you're going to need to fix that data before it'll be allowed into IQVIA. So that really goes off of the edits and checks document that were in place at DCRI prior to this go live with IQVIA.
And we do know, this is Donna, we do know there are some things that will just be missing. But when you look at your report, your missing variable report, your data quality report, you can, I know everyone has their own system, but color code that or sort it so that those move away from your field of focus and you can focus on the things that you can or may have answers to in the medical record.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Donna. Next question, with the suggestion of submitting small batches first, how small and what time frame first? Should we submit the current quarter first and then move to adding older data? So as I said before, as long as you didn't make any changes to your data that was included in the previous harvest, you're only going to need to submit data from October 1st through December 31st. And depending on how large or how many cases your site does, I would probably start with a file that maybe contained 10 or 20 files just to get a handle of what that looks like, how the DQR works, how the missing variable report works. And then you could probably submit larger batches after you get a feel for it. I hope I answered your question, Crystal. If not, please feel free to resubmit so I can provide you additional clarity if it's needed. Next question. I usually submit a full year each time I have sent a file in the past. If I don't send a full year, does the full year show up in the final report on the dashboard or only that quarter? Donna, did you want to take that one?
Sure. All of your data, hi Pat, all of your data will show up. As Carol mentioned, the data have been migrated to the IQVIA platform and you'll be able to interact with that and see that. If you're comfortable submitting a year's worth of data, that's fine. Do what works for you. I just wanted you to be aware that you're going to see more warnings, and I don't want you to be overwhelmed when you see your first data quality report and missing variable report. But it's up to you. You know, the more comfortable you are with technology, you may be fine submitting the file the way you're used to.
Great. Next one. What is the DQR turnaround time after we submit? So the DQR, it takes a little bit and not much time, but it takes just a little bit where you'll see on your screen that it's loading, 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 and you'll think, oh my gosh, I need to refresh my screen, or you need to redo it. Don't redo it. And I don't know, Karen, are you still on the phone, and are you able to speak to this one, or did you want me to? I know you have experience with how long it's been taking.
Can you repeat the question again, Carol?
Sure. What is DQR turnaround time after we submit?
Oh, it's instantaneous, like literally instantaneous. You upload, it takes 30 seconds, and then you can see that your file goes in, however many of your records you submitted were accepted, and then you can see what's missing and all that. It's instantaneous.
That's great. Thank you. Next question. There are some web pages that my company has blocked. Is there a way to get the link early so we can make sure it's whitelisted? So we'll send that out in the email. The IQVIA URL, though, we won't be able to share that because that's directly to the portal, and you won't be able to log in to make sure you have access until we send out the login information to set up your account. But let me check with Melanie on that. I think we can probably check with IQVIA on that, right, Donna? And then provide additional information if there's a way to do it ahead of time.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Okay, will there be guidance for the first harvest? In other words, step-by-step instructions on how to harvest, etc. So we have the videos on the last webinar and probably on this next webinar that we have with IQVIA on Wednesday, February 5th. IQVIA will be on that call, and Melanie has been doing instructions on those webinars to show you how to upload files. We will also have the how-to videos and they're short videos, about 20 minutes One is the general navigation video. Another one is the uploader DQR missing variable report video. Those videos will be available soon. There are step-by-step instructions on how to do that as well. Okay. Next question: when can we expect? The data analyst report ending 9/30/2019. So that's the national report for Harvest 4 that contains data from September 30th, 2019. And we talked with DCRI today, and that report is still expected by the end of the month. So it should be available on the DCRI reporting portal by the end of January. And DCRI will send out notification when they post those reports to the portal. When will training videos be posted? We are working on getting the training videos, the sound corrected on the training videos. We have them in our possession, and we will get them posted hopefully by the end of the week or the beginning of next week. We'll definitely have them available prior to go live. And we'll include all of those links when we send out the email saying that IQVIA has sent out your login and password, so you have those available. But also please remember to check the STS National Database website for future updates on those videos. Sorry about Rosemary, she didn't have a microphone, but she wants to know to clarify that quarter 4 2019 will be the first data submitted to the new platform. And that's correct, it will be data through December 31st. That's your first submission to the IQVIA platform.
Right, that'll be the first data that you upload. However, your previous data has been migrated to the platform for the last 2 versions. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you, Donna. Next question, will IQVIA be able to walk us through submission errors? Will they be able to assure that we have completed and cleaned up our DQR accurately? Donna, did you want to take this one?
Sure, and I may ask Karen to jump into it at the end. You'll see on your submission errors, for example, please enter birth date or whatever is missing. So once those are done, that you can't fix it directly online. You'll submit it in your software and then do another submission. So your data, similar to what you're used to now, your data quality report will get shorter and shorter as you clean up the errors that are pointed out. For things like NPI issues, if a surgeon NPI doesn't match and the file is rejected, those are things you'll need to work with STS. If it's a file structure issue, sometimes we get those with vendor submission errors. You'll need to work with your vendor, and we'll help you, similar to the things you've encountered in past data submissions, we'll help you get over those hurdles.
Great, thank you, Donna. Next question, if we have a third-party vendor to enter cases, do we have access as a hospital to see the entered data? IQVIA AHA CAD registry. So as long as you have somebody at your site who's designated as a primary backup, a surgeon, and I think the national report recipient role, you would still have access to the IQVIA portal. Is that correct, Donna?
Right. If you have access now, you'll have access going forward. If you need additional people to have access, we'll need to know that with your contact update.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, how will it work if we are part of multiple hospitals? Will it be one login and see separate dashboards per site? And yes, that's correct. You would have one login, and then you would be able to select which hospital you wanted to, which PID you wanted to look at with that login that you're associated with. Okay, here's a suggestion. I realize the harvest deadline based upon MIPS deadline. Perhaps you could keep that deadline for MIPS data, but facilities could submit with a later deadline for star rating purposes. Just a suggestion to consider. Donna, did you want to take this one?
Yeah, we've actually talked about that. The thing is, to get benchmark data, it requires the whole data set for analysis.
Yeah. Thanks.
But trust me, we're trying to think outside the box and working on this, and we have a call, as I said, after this call. So we'll let you know.
Great, thank you. And then I just wanted to let folks know that Jane did post, if you go into the chat box, Jane did post the link to the IQVIA login. You will not be able to log in, but you could at least go to that website and see if you have access to it. And let me know, please put a comment in the questions and answers if you're not able to find the chat box. I think it's kind of tricky to navigate sometimes. If a universal deadline extension can't be given because of MIPS, can there be, oh, we did this one too. Same ideas at the same time coming in from different people. Okay, next question is Harvest 2 2020 in version 2.9. Yes, so version 2.9 will go through cases with will go through OR dates of June 31st. I think there's 31 days. Oh my gosh.
30 days in June. I had to do the rhyme in my head.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Version 4.29 will go through June 30th, OR dates of June 30th, and then July 1st, 2020, you will start using version 4.20. So Harvest 2 will still be in version 2.9, correct. Next question, will IQVIA have a security assessment questionnaires back to the site soon? We could not submit until the assessment is done. And Donna, did you want to take that one?
Yes, we were told yesterday that IQVIA has been reaching out to sites that have contacted them. So if you have not heard anything, please contact us through the STS mailbox.
Yeah, I'm going to put that slide back up so you can see. It's the STSDB@sts.org. Next question, General Thoracic has the same harvest dates of February 14th. If we have the same login and password for IQVIA, when will we be given the OK to submit? If it's a different password and login, when will that happen? So it will be the same login and password for your, if you are submitting or abstracting for multiple databases, and we'll be in contact. Donna, did you want to touch more on the date for General Thoracic?
We won't know until the beta testing happens, and we are also aware of that harvest deadline, and it will be part of our discussion today.
Great, thank you.
But the platform won't be live. It won't be available to you on Wednesday because it's not released into the production environment yet.
Great, thank you. Next question, it says our vendor software has not been updated at this time. Our TS are looking to have this done by June. Will this affect my harvest submission? And I apologize, I'm not sure I can answer this question. I'm not following what this question is asking. If you could provide just a little bit more detail in the Q&A box about what your vendor software needs to be updated with. And then I think we could provide you a good answer.
Yeah, all of the vendors who are currently certified, who you've been submitting data through, are still certified.
Right.
So the new certification won't happen until the new data version, which starts in July. So you shouldn't encounter any trouble submitting.
Okay, great. Next question, when will we expect the last harvest report? So that report should be posted by the end of January, and it will contain data through September 30th of 2019. And it will be reported available on the DCRI reporting portal. How can I be sure I am on the list to receive a login? If the go live passes and I have not received a login, who do I contact? So Rachel, you're going to want to reach out to STSDB@sts.org, and we'll be able to help make sure you're on the list as you're supposed to be. And we can also help you after the go live if you're not receiving information or you're not receiving our communication. We'll be happy to help you through that email, the STSDB@sts.org. So yes, just to clarify, only changes for Harvest 1 and Harvest 2 of 2020 will be submissions to IQVIA, but version is still 4.2. Version is still 4.29. Yes, that's correct. Version 4.29 will still be in place until the last OR date of June 30th of 2020, and then on July 1st, 2020, we start using version 4.20.
But you will be able to submit older data if you've made corrections or changes or have mortality dates, or you can go back beyond January 1st of 2020. Sorry.
That's all right. Thank you. Great clarification. Next question. Will each site only be allowed access for just one data manager? No. So if you have multiple backups and one primary data manager, each of those people will receive login information for your portal, for your site's access to the registry, to your site's access to the IQVIA portal. Will the data contact related to one site receive an email when somebody from another site submits through IQVIA once they go live? And this is a great question. I'm not sure how that will work.
No,
do you know?
No, we're not going to have emails. The platform doesn't send emails out, so you're going to have to work internally with whoever does your data submissions to know when the platform's been updated or new data's been added, and you can look at your data quality report, you can look at missing variable report, the dashboard, but there won't be emails that go out.
Great. And I think once you log in and you're able to see what the most recent upload was, so if somebody else is logging in after you've made an upload, they would be able to see that you made that upload. I apologize if you just said that. Okay. If our facility invoicing is pending, will we still receive login credentials, or do we need to wait for payment to process?
I can take that one, Carol. We've extended the time period for payment. We don't want to shut people out of the platform. So as long as your invoices are paid by March 1st, you'll have access to the platform, receive a username and password. And we're putting this in database news with the deadlines, and this is for adult cardiac. It's a little different for congenital. This is adult and general thoracic. So that March 1st deadline is important for getting your invoices paid.
Great, thank you. Next question. Will we not be receiving our login information before the go-live date? That's correct. You'll receive your login information on the day of go-live, which is January 29th. Is there a minimum number of cases for submission as there has been in the past? So you'll still need to meet the reporting requirements, which is listed in the report overview section. For example, for cabbage cases, you would still need to have 10 cabbage cases to be included in that reporting period and to be benchmarked.
But you can submit.
Right, you can still submit. There has been no minimum requirement for submission in the past. You could submit any number of cases in the past. It was just the benchmark that you had to have the minimum of 10 cases. For example, the 10 cases for the isolated cabbage category to be included in the benchmarked reports. How do we deal with the change in surgeons? Contacts are currently in DCRI. So you will need to email the stsdb@sts.org. Also need to fill out a participant contact form on the STS National Database webpage under STS Database Forms. There's a concern about all of the data managers logging in at the same time, and that if IQVIA has enough support to support all of their logins. Donna, did you want to take that question?
Yep, and we had that question, and I'm not an IT expert, but we've been told since it's a cloud-based platform, there's not a danger of servers crashing or overload.
Great, thank you. Will our quarterly reports that we have normally received be no longer distributed quarterly? So we'll still have quarterly data updates as in your national report, and those will be updated on your dashboard. So your benchmarked data will be updated quarterly on your dashboard. The PDF reports are changing over to dashboard reporting.
But you will have the ability to export to Excel or PDF to make slides or to do your quality department presentations.
Okay. If we submit October 31st through December 31st, 2019, and it is completed, then if we need to say submit last quarter of 2018, can we only submit that quarter of 2018, or do we need to submit October 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2019? You only need to submit that last quarter, that quarter of data that you made the change to, and actually it could just be a small snippet of that quarter. If it's one specific date, I would say submit that date or a couple of days before and after to include it, because when you resubmit that to IQVIA, that portion of data will overwrite what you had already submitted in the previous submission. Donna, do you have anything to add to that?
No, just that it will support the last two versions. The uploader will support that, but again, the more you submit, the more complex your data quality and missing variable reports will be. So you just want to make sure that you are not making more work for yourself if nothing's changed in the old files.
Great, thank you. And Karen Hardy, I'm going to call on you for the next question because I think you'll be able to answer this better. It's a long one, so let me know if you're listening, and I'll go ahead and read it when you're ready.
Here.
Okay, here it comes.
Karen.
Is there any threshold or criteria indicated in the new version of the DQR for specific fields listed for us to correct, such as mortality percentage by procedure category? Those criteria are listed in the older version of the DQR.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. That's a good thing, Carol, that maybe we should talk about online. If you remember our old DQR reports, it told you, you know, for your isolated cabbages, you maybe were at 93% and that you weren't meeting that 2% threshold. So, no, I am not seeing those out there as something for us to put on the list.
And we had, Diana Leho, who's been one of our beta testers, we had a webinar with the IQVIA team to talk about this exact data quality report feature so that it does help the site focus on the variables that are most important to get your ratings and your risk adjustment. So they're aware of this, and we had a sample report, and she went through it along with a data manager who, I apologize, I forgot her name, but they went through it in depth with us and IQVIA, and it won't be available at Go Live, but will be implemented as soon as they can get that programmed.
Great, thanks Donna, and thanks Karen. Next question, will reports be coming rolling quarters or stay by calendar year? So the reports come out every quarter, and they are based on, for adult cardiac, it's based on a calendar year's, a year's worth of data, a rolling year's worth of data, and the valves are 3 years worth of data. So they're rolling reports. Donna, do you have anything to add to that one?
No, that's exactly right.
Correct.
Thanks, Carol.
Oh, thank you. How small of a test file would you recommend? Okay, we spoke about that. Just a few files, maybe 10 to 20 files for your first submission. And would it be prudent to generate that file ahead of Go Live to reacquaint yourself with the process of creating an export file and be ready for January 29th? I think that's a great idea, and I also think if sites can go ahead and start doing that and get reacquainted, since it's been 3 or 4 months since we've done our last submission, I think that will be really helpful to make sure. I'm sorry, actually we submitted the end of November, so it's been about 2 months. So if we can go ahead and try to do that and get those files ready to go, I think that's a great idea. You can also go into your vendor software and run reports within your vendor software to check on the variable. Some of the reports they have may include missing variable reports and things like that to help get ready for January 29th. Make sure your data is as clean as possible before you start submitting to IQVIA. That was a great idea. Thank you. Could you send test emails from IQVIA and other whitelisted addresses so we know that the emails are not getting caught in the spam mail? I sent them to my IT department to whitelist, but don't want that to be an issue. If you could just please email STS National Data, STSDB@sts.org. We'll be happy to work with you and IQVIA to get test emails sent out. can you demo what the site looks like? So Chad, these were on the previous webinars that we had earlier in January, and we'll also have additional webinars with the demos on the February 5th call with IQVIA. If you could join those, or if you want to check out the recorded webinars that are available online, that would be a great place to see the demo that Melanie did last time. Is this call being recorded for those that are not able to join? So the purpose of these calls were for people to share ideas and hear what's going on. They are being recorded. We'll have to decide if we're going to post them or not internally before we do. We have the other calls up there from IQVIA that have a lot of the same information or updated information, so we don't want to confuse anybody, but I think is something we can talk about internally, correct, Donna, to see if this is what we can
Sure.
do? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, next question. I want to resubmit quarters 1 through 3 because of a few corrections in addition to quarter 4. Would you recommend to start with the previous quarters to submit since it has already been harvested prior and is already basically clean, then proceed with quarter 4? Teresa, I think that's a great idea, and I would say go ahead, maybe start with quarter 1, see how it goes, and then you can go ahead and submit larger pieces of data. Knowing that you've already submitted and you've already cleaned it up with previous data quality reports, I think it will be will make that process a little bit easier with your first upload. That's a great idea, thank you. Will the surgeons be able to see their own data in IQVIA? Donna, did you want to take this one?
It depends on what you mean by that. I am not positive they'll be able to sort by NPI at go live at first phase of the dashboard, and the surgeon level reports will be, right now, those are going to remain on the DCRI portal for this first quarter and won't be refreshed until next year when the surgeon level report is run.
Great, thank you. You said the go-live date for general thoracic is undetermined, but do we have the date for the beta testing for general thoracic? Did we say that it was going to be?
We're waiting to hear. They're populating the test platform, the user acceptance testing platform with the data. So we're waiting to hear, and we'll open it up as soon as we can. I don't have an exact date right now.
Great, thank you. Next question, if a facility does not use the anesthesia model, are all those fields going to show up on the DQR? Great question, Nancy.
Yes.
Actually, we just got done working with IQVIA to make sure that this does not happen. Is that correct, Donna?
Yes, the beta testers found that, and it added so many missing fields and was a huge nuisance. So that's something that was corrected will be corrected for go live.
Great, thank you. Next question, for facilities with a higher case volume, are you suggesting that we only submit part of the quarterly volume to meet the criteria for a small batch of 10 or 15 cases? Yep, I say for, oh, go ahead, Donna.
No, I was just going to say for anyone, just for your own learning, just to wade in before you dive in, we're suggesting a small file. But if you're comfortable, like I said, if you're comfortable with software and feel confident, you're not going to be overwhelmed with a huge data quality report, it's really totally up to you. You can decide how many to start with, no matter what size site you have. I just suggested that so that you'd have a little bit of a learning curve without, hundreds of rows of data that you have to wade through.
Great, thank you. Will there be a delineation between critical errors and warnings so that we can prioritize? And yes, there will be you'll see a pie box, and if you go back to the January webinar, Melanie walked through this pretty in detail and clicked on the critical errors and the warnings and showed how to manipulate those boxes so you could see just the warnings come up. So there will be a way to see just the critical errors and the warnings. Just to clarify, we enter our quarter 4 data into our vendor software and then to IQVIA. You enter your quarter 4 data into your vendor software. You abstract the cases the same way you've been abstracting them into your vendor software. You then would, just like you had been doing with DCRI, where you download that file for upload to the uploader, you then download that file from your vendor software to be submitted, and you upload that file to the IQVIA portal instead of the DCRI portal. So same process that you do with your vendor software with abstraction and all of that. It's just the place where you upload that file is changing at that step of the process. When submitting to IQVIA, what kind of errors will block the submission? If there are missing variables, will the whole file be blocked from submission, or will IQVIA accept some missing variables? So some missing variables will be accepted. It's those edits. So for example, say you have a field where your OR date is prior to your admission date. Currently, DCRI would set both of those fields to missing, would set both of those fields to blank. You would receive notification that that file couldn't be accepted. IQVIA will not, the same thing, IQVIA will not accept that file if it's not going to set those fields to blank. It's just not going to accept your file, that record in that file. So those are the types of edits that are going to be blocked.
Right.
Do you have anything to add? Oh, okay, thanks.
Surgeon MPI, that's going to, if that's not on file, that will reject. If you don't have your participant ID number, it's really major things that will kick out the file. Missing variables will show up in your missing variable report.
Great, thank you. If we have new surgeons coming on board, do we still submit to STS like we used to, or is there a new site to submit new surgeons? So you'll still need to update your participant contact form on the STS National Database webpage, and that's where you'll provide them, and you'll fill out that signature A with their signature and get it back into Derek, so we can get you, Derek and Addie, so we can get you into your surgeon into the system so you can submit for that surgeon. Next question, with the new IQVIA platform is in the missing variable report, how will we be able to identify the variables that affect the NQF measures or risk model adjustment? Donna, did you want to take this one? Because I believe we've been having conversations.
Yeah, that won't be available at Go Live, but it is, we just, as I said, went through that with some of the beta testers, and IQVIA is aware of what needs to be added to make the data quality report more user-friendly, to allow you to pick those out. I think most of you know which fields go into the NQF report and which are included in the PROC ID, and that's all in the front matter of your report overview, so you might want to go over that so that you have that list in front of you when you're submitting. That might make it easier until we get it automated.
Great, thank you. And we have about 5 more minutes to answer. We'll get through as many questions as we can. And if we're not able to get to your question, please submit to the stsdb@sts.org, and we'll provide you answers as quickly as we can. Next question, could we please have written instructions versus video instructions? And I think this is a great idea, Deborah. It's something that we can bring back to IQVIA and see if they're able to provide that to us. I can't guarantee it by Go Live just because of the resources that may take away from other parts of the project that they're working on, but we'll definitely talk to them about providing written instructions. Will we receive a national report for the full year of 2019? So that will be, the report will be updated on the IQVIA. The numbers from that report will be updated on the IQVIA dashboard. If I understand correctly, there are no instructions for printing, and the videos won't be posted until February 5th. So we do have instructions available in the previous webinars. December and January went over the instructions for uploading and how the DQR works, how to navigate the dashboard and things like that. So I encourage you to go back and watch those videos. We will have the how-to videos posted as soon as possible, but just so you're aware, those 2 webinars, December and January, cover a lot of the same information that are going to be in the how-to video. So we may not have them posted tomorrow. We will have them posted soon, but I encourage you to go back and please watch those webinars because the same instructions should be in there as well. Will we get the report for Q3 submission from IQVIA? So that report will be posted on the DCRI portal, and that's data through December 30th. Will portal be open all weekend? So the portal will be open 24/7. You can submit data anytime that portal is open anytime. You can submit data whenever you would like.
One caveat there. Oh, sorry. One caveat there, as with any other website or portal, if there are patches or updates that need to happen, those are usually scheduled at night on the weekends.
Great, thank you. Next question was, late to join the call. Is there a new target date for IQVIA Go Live? So thanks for joining, Suzanne, and the date for the ACSD Go Live is January 29th. Will IQVIA and STS be providing weekend call support? So here's the call structure. It is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And they will return your call within a 24-hour turnaround window, 1 business day for your responses. So if you call on Saturday morning, you'll probably get a call back on Monday or two, probably Monday, I believe, of that coming week.
And IQVIA has extra support on hand, so they're anticipating the need to have a lot of folks available to answer your questions, help with usernames and passwords, and take care of everybody, because we know how stressful and busy this next week will be.
Great, thank you. Next question, I have more people that want to have access to all the aspects of the submission and also view the final report. Donna, did you want to take that one? I think they probably just need to fill out a participant contact form according to their primary data contact.
Exactly right, Carol. As always has been the case, you tell us the folks that should have access from your site, who should be able to upload data, who's view only, and those roles, I believe they went over those in either the first or second webinar, but just update the participant contact form as you normally would, and primary and backup. You can have as many backup data managers as you wish to add for your site.
Great, thank you. Probably take 2 more questions here. If we are submitting multiple hospitals, will there be checks in IQVIA so we do not accidentally submit the wrong hospital like Duke had? And this is something we had talked about. Donna, did you want to discuss this one a little bit further?
Sure. It's going to be based on the participant ID number and the hospital MPI. So when you submit your file, it will get routed based on those numbers.
Great, thank you. And will we still be able to access prior reports through DCRI? You will still have access to the DCRI portal through March. You need to go to the DCRI portal and pull down all of your reports, save them locally or on somewhere on your hospital's computer system, so you have access to those. They will be sent over to IQVIA. It's going to take a little bit for IQVIA to get access, to get the site's access to those. So in the meantime, it's really important that you go and pull down all of those previous reports from the DCRI portal, because it will be closing the end of March. Okay, I think that's time now for our call. The next call we have is on January 30th. We have 2 webinars on that day. The first one is to go over the version 4.20 data collection form, and that call is at 2 p.m. Central. And then we have another user group call at 3 p.m. Central. I encourage you to please join both of them if you can, and reach out if you have any questions. After that, we have a call on February 5th. That's the data warehouse transition call at 2 p.m. with IQVIA on the line as well. So again, thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of the day, and thank you for being patient with STS as we all go through this transition together. Donna, closing words?
No, we understand how important your role is to the database, to data integrity, and how difficult your job is, and we're trying to make it easier. And I apologize that the timeline is so tight, we're going to do everything we can to ease that burden for you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.